Welcome to the 79th Annual Franklin A. Polk Public Servants Merit Awards. I'm Chris Schmidt, and it is my honor to serve as the CEO of the Association and Foundation. Our mission statement as an organization calls on us to celebrate members of our profession and the community that surrounds it for their contributions to the system of justice. We are so excited today to celebrate 14 such individuals, and we're so thankful that all of you are here to celebrate with us. I love this full house. Congratulations. Thank you. This is great. Thank you as well to our sponsors who made today possible. You'll see a list of those on the back of your program for today. Last year's Public Servants happened on my 8th day as the CEO of this organization. The team rightly entrusted me with 0 responsibilities that day because I was still trying to figure out where we kept the spoons in the kitchen. They did, however, tell me to sit up front and to give an eye to any judge that went over their allotted 90 seconds. As all of the non-judges in the room can tell you, giving an eye to a judge is not something lawyers look forward to, especially when the eye means please stop talking. Especially when you're the newly installed leader of the Bar Association. But I tried my best, and I'm happy to report that almost all of them cooperated. The one notable exception was my friend, Judge Brendan Sheehan, who ignored every stern look and every hand wave that I could muster without fully doing the hokey pokey from my seat. He told me after the event that he absolutely saw me making faces, that he didn't care, and that he would try harder next time. And with that, we come to today, which is in fact next time. As the fates would have it, Judge Sheehan actually isn't here today because of an unavoidable schedule conflict, but he actually sent a video for his introduction that you'll see in just a few moments. This means that I can personally guarantee everyone in this room that Judge Sheehan will be speaking for exactly 3 minutes and 7 seconds. While it's bending the rules still by a little bit, it's 50% better than last year, and we'll keep improving on that. A few matter of housekeeping before we actually get started today. 2 weeks ago at the National Conference of Bar Foundation's annual meeting in Washington, D.C., longtime CMBA member and bar champion Mary Groth was presented with the inaugural Lifetime Achievement Award by the NCBF for her contributions to our foundation and to bar foundations around the country as a tenacious champion for access to justice and civic education causes. Mary, please stand so we can congratulate you on this amazing award. In less happy news that some of you may have seen this morning, the Cleveland legal community lost a legend last night with the passing of Pudge Hinkle. Pudge was a friend and a mentor to many in this room and was known to be one of the most gracious and kind lawyers in this town. As a young Jones Day attorney in the 1970s, he helped save the theaters in Playhouse Square from the wrecking ball and helped found the Playhouse Foundation that has created one of the best theater districts in the world. Pudge was also the past treasurer of the CMBA, past president of the Bar Foundation, and in both roles helped define the values and vision that we still live up to today. We're so thankful to Pudge and for his family and their commitment to Cleveland and the legal profession, and look forward to honoring him and others from the legal community that we have lost in our memorial program in early 2026. In other news, please hold the evening of Thursday, December 11th for our annual holiday party. We're switching it up this year. We're moving from the nice finery at Truss, which was fantastic last year, across the street to have a beer party at Great Lakes Brewing Company. So they asked if we wanted the 50-person room or the 200-person room, and I told the team that we want the 200-person room and that we will have a waiting list. So please plan on joining us on December the 11th for a great evening of fun and friends so I can be right. Back to the matter at hand. You will notice that there are 2 additional annual awards being presented today as part of the program. That's because we saw an opportunity to expand today's festivities to celebrate members of our bar who have gone truly above and beyond. We're here to recognize service to the public, and I think you'll agree that Jim Satula and Judge Mary Jane Trapp both represent the highest ideals of our collective commitment to helping those around us. To all of our awardees, a sincere congratulations from the Association and the Foundation. Thank you all for your commitment to making Cleveland a great place to call home for all of the people who are here. We have a round of applause for all of our awardees. That's it from me. To begin this afternoon's festivities, it's now my pleasure to introduce Carl Beckany, Bar Foundation President, who will present the 2025 Volunteer of the Year Award.
Thank you, Chris. I told Nick I'm not going to break the award. I'm going to do my best. This is one of my favorite events in the Bar Foundation calendar. Today, we get to recognize award recipients who have given tremendous service to our legal community. I never come away with this event without a tear in my eye and feeling great about our profession and our local legal community. And I think it's tremendous that we are adding two very important awards, both the Volunteer of the Year and the Professionalism Award. I get the pleasure of presenting the Volunteer of the Year Award. Each year, the Justice for All Committee of the CMBA presents the Volunteer of the Year Award to recognize an individual who has demonstrated exceptional dedication to public service and legal education here in Cleveland and across the legal sector. This year, we are proud to honor Jim Satola. Jim has been a tireless supporter of our legal community, giving countless hours of time to mentor and encourage the next generation of lawyers, specifically through his extraordinary commitment to mock trial programs. A leader since his time at Case Western Reserve University Law School, Jim estimates that he has served as a judge at over 1,000 mock trials through the CMBA, our partners at the Ohio Center for Legal Related Education, and several other junior high, high school, college, and law school competitions across the country. Jim has also chaired and continues to teach within the CMBA's 3Rs program, bringing civics education into local schools across the city. Through these sustained efforts in which he mentors students, refines their advocacy, and promotes their legal and civic understanding, Jim has become a respected fixture in Cleveland's educational and legal communities. His generosity of spirit and steadfast dedication embody the very best of what it means to serve, and we are so thankful for his steadfast leadership and commitment to our profession. Please join me in congratulating Jim Satola, our 2025 Volunteer of the Year.
Being first, I will follow the rule. It's very important of being brief as well. I first would like to begin with just thanking the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association and particularly its Justice for All Committee for giving me this award today. It really was a surprise to receive it when I got the call, and I am deeply honored to be able to accept this award today. One of the things that's really wonderful about this is being given an award for doing something I truly love. I look forward to being a mentor and especially working with kids at the high school level, college, and law school levels who work so hard to do well in their mock trial programs and to be there with them to appreciate how much work they put into it and give to them what is a reward for the work that they put in. So I just want to thank the committee. And one of the things, too, that made me especially proud today is to find out that the other professionalism award is being given to Judge Mary Jane Trapp. I was a friend of Judge Trapp, and she was an absolutely wonderful person. So I want to congratulate her on this award. And I also want to congratulate all of the other awardees today for honoring your public service. So I thank you. I thank the committee, and
I forgot I had one more duty, which is to introduce our MC. I feel like he is someone that doesn't need any introduction. Jacob Cronenberg, he has been doing this, he estimates, for 30 years. That is some dedication. I really appreciate taking the time and coming back and carrying on this tradition. And with that, I'll hand it over to our MC.
Carl, thank you very much. Hard to believe 30 years. Either I'm awfully stubborn or awfully stupid or both. I want to welcome you all today again, and I appreciate Carl's and Chris's remarks about the importance of this event. I clearly feel that, or else I wouldn't be coming back all these years. And I want to hope that we can today proceed as we always have and make sure that you understand that I'm just a figurehead up here trying to stay vertical, and the real important folks are the ones that'll be coming up in a bit. Today, we celebrate those 12 individuals who have made significant contributions to the administration of justice. While we will be hearing from our honorees and those who nominated them in just a few minutes, you also have the chance to learn more about each of them in the printed program you received when you arrived here today. And I hope that you'll take the trouble to read those thoughts on each of them, because it barely scratches the surface of all the years of service that they have been able to provide to all of us. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. They're the folks who make the judicial and public service system work. Judges are nice, lawyers are nice, but they keep the thing moving. And those of us who are judges and lawyers, I think, all appreciate that. But we also have a zillion past honorees. I've lost track of the number. But for those of you who take the time to walk into the old courthouse, there are plaques naming every one of them in the lobby, in the entryway. And I encourage you to go take a look just to understand that all those names constitute individually 25 or more years of service a person. And if you take the trouble to do the math, you get to thousands and thousands of hours. But as often occurs, many of our past honorees choose to come to attend this event. And I would like all of those who are past honorees to please stand for us and take yet another clap of appreciation. In addition, over the years, I've noticed that there have been all these people named Judge who tends to show up for this event for some reason, and other public servants. And I would ask that all of them stand so that we can recognize their faithful attendance at this event. Judges, public servants, don't be shy. We thank you for your participation in this event every year, and in particular for those of you who are in a position to submit nominations and helping us to continue the tradition, now 79 years old, almost finishing its 8th decade. I haven't been around here for the whole thing. Recognizing the unsung heroes among us who have and continue to keep all of us able to do our jobs. Please, thank you again for your presence and your service. But let's move to the main event of the program. Every year, the Bar Association solicits from a number of judicial offices, from a number of public agencies, nominees for this award. At times, it's been 7 or 8 or 9 awards, and at other times, it's been many more. This year, we have sort of a bumper crop. I don't know whether it's the rain or the heat, but here we are with a lot of folks to ask to come up and be recognized. And as usual, the order of presentation has nothing to do with anything other than the alphabet. So nobody's first, nobody's last. They're just blessed with names that are either B's or Z's or somewhere in between. Our first nominee is from the Office of Clerk of Courts. Earle Turner, who nominated this individual, is not able to be with us today, and in his stead is his alternate, Dawn Harris. Miss Harris and Miss Bates, please come on up.
Well, good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all of the nominees and past nominees as well. My name is Dawn Harris. I'm the Chief of Operations, and I have the pleasure of presenting our nominee, who's our Chief of Staff, Kim Bates. As Mr. Cronenberg mentioned, Clerk Earle Turner was unable to attend today, but I had the privilege to stand here on the behalf of the clerk. He wants me to convey his admiration for Kim's unwavering loyalty, dedication, hard work, and leadership within our organization. Having worked with the clerk for over 30 years, including years serving with Mr. Turner prior to him joining the clerk's office, Kim is a shining example in public service, and it's no wonder that she is a Polk Award nominee. Let's celebrate not only Kim, but all the nominees tonight by contributing to their success and wishing them well. Kim?
You know, it's funny. It's a little unnerving to stand here because I was a little confused at first. So usually, if Mr. Turner isn't here, I'm the one that comes up and introduces the recipients. Well, I have been doing it so much that when he nominated me, I'm like, are you sure? I think I had this award before. And I didn't want to take it from anybody else. I actually called Carly and said, can you check your records just to be sure? She said, no, Kim, it's you. So having said, so I wrote something down just so I wouldn't forget. I'm usually not nervous, but like I said, it's just a little different being on this side. So in 1996, I came down to the Justice Center with Mr. Turner. He had a vision. He wanted to change the culture of the clerk of court's office. You have to understand that back then, that was a tall order. The people who came to court had a stigma attached to them. They were labeled as criminals and defendants. Well, they obviously did something wrong that brought them in front of a judge, but when they came to our office, the process of being judged should have stopped. Those same criminals and defendants were now our customers. The court as a whole at that time didn't welcome the idea. Some laughed at the thought. Others, they thought that that philosophy did not fit in this environment and were very vocal about it. They didn't like it. So it took time to make the change. We had to help our employees understand that the people who came into our office weren't just the criminals and the defendants, but they were also somebody's grandmother, their mother, their auntie, their child, sibling, who already had a fear just entering the building, then trying to find out where to go, and then understanding what they had to do to get a bond, a payment plan, and how long it would take after they paid it to see what other action would be needed to get their person out of jail or get something released. And we asked our employees then, how would you want your grandmother, your mother, your child to be treated if they came to our office? For some reason, they didn't really care about the siblings. I don't understand that, but we don't believe the customer is always right, because if they were, they wouldn't be talking to us. But our job as public service is to assist them, guide them, not give them legal advice, we don't do that, but legal information, all while treating them with dignity, courtesy, and respect. I've always liked to help people. I see people in the hallways sometimes, or even on the elevators, and they look lost. And I ask them, what can I do to help? My internal customers, besides the court, are the employees. I love to serve them, assist them, guide them, and no, I don't give legal advice, but I do support them. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for them. They always make me want to do better for them. So thank you for creating this award for people who love to serve others like me. And thank you for being a part of this and let me be acknowledged.
Thank you, Kim, for those inspiring words. Our next nominee comes from the General Division of the Court of Common Pleas. And although I've known Judge Sheehan for a lot of years, I don't know what I did to offend him this time, but he is, as someone noted earlier, not able to attend, but he is here by video. So Judge Sheehan, from your undisclosed location, talk to us.
Good afternoon. My name is Brendan Sheehan, and I'm the administrative presiding judge in Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court. It's an honor to be able to stand here before you and present the Franklin A. Polk Servant Award. I will tell you that as the administrative presiding judge, this is my last time to do it. And I just really want to thank the Bar Foundation for providing Cuyahoga County public sector employees this opportunity to honor people who really make a difference in their communities. Michelle has been with the court for more than 35 years. Yes, you heard me, 35 years. She began in January of 1990 as a clerk typist in the probation department. In 2000, Chief Probation Officer Vince Polito needed a temporary assistant. And once he saw Michelle was capable of this, that position was made permanent. Vince was just the first Chief Probation Officer Michelle worked side by side with. Since then, she worked with Vince Holland, Maria Nemec, and currently Tammy Sherman. And they all have benefited from her wisdom and her experience. Every court needs a Michelle Davis. As assistant to the Chief Probation Officer, Michelle helps to manage a department with more than 200 employees. No easy task, but she does it all with a smile and helpful attitude. She cares about the probation staff and the people they serve. She is loyal and supportive and knows when you need that extra push to get you through those difficult days. Along with doing her job expertly, Michelle is also the heart of our probation department, planning retirement celebrations and our court's events for the Probation Recognition Week each year. For 35 years, each year. She is also supervises the probation department's clerical staff and ensuring that all people receive excellent service when they walk through those doors. Though she has her own family, and I know some of them are here today, to probation, she is the best mom ever. Michelle is modest and might disagree, but we all know that she is richly deserving of this recognition. Thank you again to the CMBA Bar Foundation for this opportunity, but more importantly, thank you, Michelle Davis, for being a role model of the best public servant she can be. Thank you. Have a great day.
In Judge Sheehan's absence, the award will be physically presented by his court administrator, Greg Popovich.
First of all, thank you so much for, again, to the Bar Association for hosting this event once again. I would like to note for the record, I think that was the shortest presentation Judge Sheehan has ever made as administrative judge. It's amazing what editing can do to a video. Anyways, all kidding aside, again, thank you to the Bar Association. I cannot think of anyone more deserving than Michelle for this award. I've been with Michelle all those years. I could tell you, she treats everyone with so much respect who comes to the probation department. Some of them, again, we've always said that people come to the court that they're not all bad people. They come before us, a lot of them who made bad decisions. They all deserve to be treated with respect. Michelle does that each and every day. Treats all of our staff, our judges with that same respect. And really, the probation department functions, our court functions because of people like Michelle. And I can't be more of an honor to be able to be here today and present the award. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. I thank God for this award. I want to thank Judge Sheehan for nominating me for the Franklin A. Polk Servant Merit Award. I am truly honored to receive this award for public service in the Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court system. Serving this community has been one of the greatest privileges of my career, and I am humbled to be recognized for simply doing work that I believe in and serving the public for over 35 years in the Cuyahoga County Probation Department. This recognition is not just for me, but for all my colleagues. Thank you to Greg Popovich, to Andrea Kness, and the entire Court Administrative Office. Thank you to Tammy Sherman, who is the Chief of the County Probation Department and my supervisor. I also want to recognize the previous chiefs of the department who I served under, Maria Nimrick, Vince Holland, and Vince Polito. Thank you to the deputy chiefs, Reese Tucker, Michael Cooney, Stephanie Pope Earle, and I also want to recognize the previous deputy chiefs, which was Jim Starks, Stephanie Pryor, Ellen Woodruff, Bill Croman, and the late Molly Brennerhouse. The court system is a team effort, and every day I am inspired by the dedication of those who work faithfully to ensure fairness, justice, and compassion for the people we serve. Most of all, I see this reward as a reminder of the responsibility we all share in making our county a place where justice is accessible and every voice is heard. Thank you to the Cleveland Bar Association for putting on this event. I want to thank my family and my friends. It makes all the difference for your support. Lastly, I want to thank my coworkers in the Cuyahoga County Probation Department who I work with and the team who I supervise. To really tell the truth, let's be honest here. Not only do I serve the public, but I serve my coworkers. And if it wasn't for the demands of my coworkers, which is over 200 and some people, such as emails, text messages, call-offs, fill-ins, phone calls, timesheets, and the corrections of the timesheets, did you get my vacation slip? Postings, trainings, work orders, supply orders, toners, jail interview setups, counseling, all the retirement parties, not to mention pretrial, probation, and parole supervision week, telling me I cannot go on vacation. How long are you going to be out on vacation? And when are you coming back? I wouldn't be receiving this award if it wasn't not for my coworkers. So I want to thank my coworkers. This is the reason why some of my coworkers at work call me mom, and I love my coworkers. Again, thank you again for this incredible honor and award, and thank you again for Judge Sheehan for nominating me.
Me too. I'm both awed and exhausted from listening to what Michelle does. Thank you, Michelle, and congratulations. Our next nominee is nominated from the Shaker Heights Municipal Court, and here to present the honoree Brenda Frost is Judge Ann Walton Keller.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ann Walton Keller, Judge in Shaker Heights Municipal Court. I want to congratulate everyone who's received an award today. All of the public servants is amazing. And the other meaningful awards that the Bar Association is presenting today. I am here to introduce Brenda Frost. Brenda's family and so many members of our court are here today to celebrate her. She is a deputy clerk and supervisor in the Shaker Heights Municipal Court. Brenda has been in public service for nearly 45 years. And I did a double take when I read that number. For the past 25 years, she's been at the Shaker Heights Municipal Court. And before that, she spent 20 years almost in the City of Cleveland Prosecutor's Office. It just shows so much loyalty, such a commitment to public service. And she is the heart of our clerk's office. She works the window, which means that she's one of the first faces that people see when they come to the court. And there's a reason for that. She's able to make people laugh, but also be professional, Sometimes, when you have customers at the court, we need to turn the temperature down or make sure that people get the information that they need. And Brenda's the one who does that for us. She makes everyone laugh. She's beloved by her colleagues and by her family. And she's always the person bringing in snacks. If she could have brought donuts to this event, she would have, but I told her there would be food, and loves group events and cookouts. So it's just been a real privilege for me as judge to witness her commitment and leadership and dedication and her contributions for 45 years as a public servant. Thank you very much to the committee who planned this event and to the CMBA and CMBF for honoring all of these deserving individuals who are doing so much for our legal system. Congratulations, Brenda.
So I won't take long because I'm hoarse today. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. I am Brenda Frost, and I am extremely honored to be a recipient of this Merit Award today. Let me first thank my judge, Annie Walton Keller, who is the rock of our house. I want to recognize the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association for hosting this awesome event. I think it's great that this organization takes time to recognize those who have been longtime public servants, to recognize those of us, if you will, are the frontline workers who listens to all the war stories over and over again. I didn't want to say war stories, but but no matter what, we still accept the challenge of dealing with those from all walks of life. Our reward is all the lessons that we have learned along the way from the public, both good and bad, which has been priceless. I never thought that after 40 plus years, I would still be serving the public with a smile. My journey began with the City of Cleveland's Prosecutor's Office Mediation Program, where I spent a little over 19 years. My mediation training taught me patience, how to remain neutral and sensitive at the same time. This training became very useful when my window of opportunity opened to become a supervisor with the Shaker Heights Court Traffic Division. I quickly became a babysitter to those little ones who had to come to court forced by their parents. Became a friend to those who may have been mentally or physically challenged who just needed an ear. And let's not forget the right hand to those legal eagles who always forgot something at their office. Let me say that I enjoy my job at the Shaker Heights Court, where I have been for a little over 24 years and counting. I have no regrets working for the court system and helping those that I can. I guess I can say that talentless people like myself can make a difference sometimes. Congratulations to all of the award recipients, and good luck in the next chapter of your public service career. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Brenda. I'm in awe that you were able to convince the prosecutor of the city of Cleveland to hire you at age 13, but quite a bunch of public service. Our next honoree comes from the Probate Court Division of the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas. Here to present his nominee, Marc Garofoli, is Judge Anthony Russo, both of whom I had the privilege of working with when they were still under post-conviction supervision, making their jobs in the domestic court.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Anthony Russo. On behalf of myself and my colleague, Judge Laura Gallagher, it's my pleasure to be here today to present this award to my main man, Marc Garofoli, my bailiff. Ironically, as far apart as we are in age, Marc's family roots and mine go way back. We were born in the same neighborhood, Woodland Avenue, in the city of Cleveland. Our fathers were Italian cohorts who both started their political careers there, discussing political strategies at my family's kitchen table when I was a little boy and before Marc was even born. Shortly after Marc was born, they moved out to Gates Mills. Then in 1996, when Marc started working for me, he moved back to the city of Cleveland. Then he moved to Newberry in Cuyahoga County, then to Mayfield Heights, and now, believe it or not, Marc is back living in Cleveland in the Little Italy neighborhood. So as you can see, Marc's residences have been quite diverse, just like him. Born in the city, raised in the suburbs, back to the city, out to the country, and now back to the city. Not just a city and a suburban boy. With his stint in Cuyahoga County, Marc bought a pickup truck, started listening to country music, and became a modern-day Italian urban cowboy. One of his many very diverse and unique personalities. After moving back to the city, Marc strayed a bit from his urban cowboy lifestyle and began his boating career at the Lakeside Yacht Club, where he's now firmly entrenched, serving as a board member and a trustee, as well as captain of his own boat, which, by the way, for many years remained anonymous, until recently named La Forza della Famiglia, which for Marc in Italian says it all, the strength of family. Marc is also an excellent cook, and for several years, he was involved in many successful local bars and restaurants. Like my judicial assistant, Sue, who received the award last year after working with me for 30 years, Marc and I have been together with Sue for over 29 years. Marc is by far one of the hardest working people I've been around. Until a few years ago, Marc always worked a second job. Marc's very loyal, dedicated, intelligent, and personable. He serves as my right-hand man, many times offering me helpful advice and critical information when I need it most. You've probably heard the idiom, "That guy would take a bullet for me." Well, I always believed that about Marc. But literally, would he really take a bullet for me? Well, let's find out. I have some bullet bourbon here. Marc, will you take this bullet for me? All kidding aside, Marc and I have developed a very close personal relationship over the years. As dumb as it sounds, I consider Marc like one of my kids, and I try to keep him out of trouble. I would pretty much do anything for Marc, and vice versa, I'm sure. Marc's a top-notch individual, a great father to his two children, Luca and Gia, a great friend to me and Sue, and many, many other people in and outside the court. He's well-liked by everyone because of his charming personality and his laid-back style. Marc is a great employee of the probate court, always making his best effort to portray the court in a positive light. Marc goes out of his way, assisting attorneys and litigants, keeping order in the court, and generally being an all-around nice guy to members of the bar and the general public who he comes in contact with every day. I really only need 2 words to describe Marc. He is the best. And I want to personally thank him for his many years of dedicated public service to me and to the court. At this time, I'd like to introduce this year's winner of the Public Service Merit Award for the Probate Court, my good friend and colleague, Marc Garofoli.
I was hoping to swig that before I came up here. Thank you, Judge Russo. I also want to thank the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association for this fantastic event. I also want to take a moment to congratulate the other honorees. It's inspiring to be recognized along such talented and dedicated Cuyahoga County employees. I want to give a very special thank you to Judge Anthony Russo, who nominated me for this award. After 28 years, it's almost 3 decades. 28 years working together, 12 years in domestic relations, 16 years in probate. I think it's safe to say that we're pretty much ride or die at this point. Working in judge's courtroom has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life and my career. And not just because I enjoy the late start time in the morning. Judge, I appreciate your trust, your knowledge of the cases, your knowledge of the law, your dedication to resolving our cases as swiftly as possible. Truly an honor to be by your side every day. I wouldn't change it for the world. I also want to recognize my team that I've had the privilege to working with that Judge put together in our courtroom. Sue, our administrative assistant. Courtney, I think she's got 3 jobs. She's a magistrate, she's head of legal, she's Judge's staff attorney. Peggy, who's the HR boss, I text her on the regularly. Hey, Peg, I'm an hour late today, I'm 2 hours late tomorrow. Jen and Claire, so many others. You're more than just coworkers, you're truly a work family. Your knowledge, your commitment, the humor we make each day to run smoothly, and I couldn't ask for a better group to work alongside. I also want to thank Judge Gallagher, along with the many other the probate court employees who make the court run so smoothly. And mostly I want to thank my kids, Luca and Gia. They are the greatest source of my pride. They keep me humble. In fact, when I told them that I was getting this award, the first question was, did they make a mistake nominating you? So clearly, they're keeping me focused on really important things in life. Thank you again for this honor and for giving me the chance to share this moment with you. And if you remember, if you need anything from the probate, call Sue.
Congratulations, Mark, and thank you. Our next honoree comes from the Ohio Attorney General's Office of Consumer Protection. Maybe the first time we've had a nominee from that office, but I've been around too long, so I may have lost track. But in any event, here to present the nominee, John Hathaway, are Leandra Majors and Sandra Nimrick of that office.
When I was here to receive this award a year ago, it got me thinking about all the dedicated public servants I've worked with at the Attorney General's office over the years. And my very first thought was, John Hathaway deserves this award. John began working at the Ohio Attorney General's office in the Cleveland Regional Office in November of 1991, which for those of us who are math challenged was almost 34 years ago. Although I don't think he looks a day older now than he did then. He immediately endeared himself to all of his coworkers with his ever-present smile and his trademark greeting, "How can I help you?" And he means it. During those years, John spent 2 years as an investigator in the Crime Victims Compensation Section, 20 years, including currently as a consumer protection investigator, and 12 years in the middle as office manager extraordinaire. His work required him to meet with victims of violent crime or their surviving family members, and later with Ohio consumers who have been defrauded by contractors or ripped off by robocall scams or other nefarious escapades. And he has the perfect temperament for dealing with people at their most vulnerable. His easygoing nature, warmth, and compassion put everyone at ease and reassure them that their problems are in good hands. Our receptionist and my co-nominator, Leandra Majors, very quickly realized that John would be the go-to guy to call anytime an irate, distraught, or confused constituent showed up at the office seeking help. John has proven time and again that he can solve any problem and diffuse any situation. As the office manager, John handled everything from human resources matters and payroll to supplies and equipment maintenance. He fielded a litany of questions every day from the 90 or so Cleveland office employees and never left a question unanswered. He would often say, "I don't know, but I'll find out for you." And he always would follow up with the information, saving us the time and hassle of navigating the bureaucracy of the much larger Columbus main office and freeing us up to concentrate on the legal work of serving the people of Ohio. Among his other gifts, John is a computer guru and served as our tech expert long before we ever had an IT specialist in the Cleveland office. As a tech moron myself, I greatly appreciated his help on countless occasions, and John was the first person who ever taught me the #1 rule of computer problems. He would always ask first, have you tried turning your computer off and back on? John could also fix anything around the office and probably saved the state a lot of money in maintenance costs over the years. His ubiquitous toolbox and jack-of-all-trades skill set earned him the nickname MacGyver around the office. I once asked John just exactly how long his job description was, since there seemed to be no task he wouldn't or couldn't perform. And he told me there's this line at the end that says, "and all other duties." He certainly takes that line very seriously. John's dedication and abilities did not go unnoticed by the main office, and for a time we feared we would lose him to Columbus when the general services section was in chaos and John was asked to run that entire section in addition to his duties in Cleveland. In typical John Hathaway fashion, he answered that call to service, and for 9 months he commuted back and forth between Northeast Ohio and Columbus, doing the work of multiple people, but he never missed a beat and was still responsive to all of us in Cleveland during that time. He never complained, never told anyone he didn't have time to help, and never stopped smiling. Thankfully, he returned to Cleveland full-time at the end of that stint. 2 specific examples stand out to me to illustrate just who John is as an employee and a public servant and as a person. One of our attorneys was in a minor car accident on the way back from a trial in Lorain County. He was not hurt, but he was stuck waiting for a tow truck when he called John to let him know. John picked up his trusty toolkit and drove to the accident location on I-480 and was able to reattach the car's bumper so the car would be drivable. 20 years ago, when my youngest child was a newborn and critically ill, and it looked like he might not survive, I called John to ask about how I could make sure my son was added to my life insurance so we would have money to pay for a funeral. John gathered the necessary paperwork, drove to the hospital on his lunch break, and met me in the waiting room of the pediatric intensive care unit so I could fill out and sign the papers for him to submit immediately. Thank God we never needed that life insurance. But the incident speaks volumes about who John is as a public servant, a dedicated worker, and a human being. John, I am so grateful that my career with the AG's office and my life have overlapped with yours these past 34 years. Your coworkers and the people of the state of Ohio are lucky to have you.
It's not fair to tell a story like that before I have to speak. It's the thing about this award is you know that it's coming, so you have some time to think about it. And it's like was said earlier, are they sure they meant me? And so I guess I would reflect. I thought of that story when you told me, when I realized that I'd been nominated, and in reflecting on it now, it almost brings me to tears. There's no more thing of value, no thing that could reward you more than trying to help a person when they need you most. And so I've had the privilege of helping the staff as the office manager and in various other roles. And I'm so happy to have had the chance to help the public. I don't think there's anything more rewarding than helping a person who's in need, who doesn't know how to navigate the system themselves. And so my attitude on this has always been, we all deal with people who try and help us. And so you get done with, somebody helps you and you get done with that call and you're like, wow, that was really helpful. I'm so glad I reached that person. And in my public service, I try to be that guy who gives that service back the way you would want to receive it yourself. So just some quick thank yous. I went to Ohio University. The leadership there did a lot to teach us how to be leaders. Tom Merriman, who was my first manager. Oh, I have to go back. Bruce Nimrick, who was my first supervisor, who taught me the ropes and how things really work in the world. Tom Merriman, who was our first managing attorney and always encouraged me to aim high. Jeff Hastings, who was also a managing attorney, who taught me to be a gentleman at all times and always have the patience of Job. my wife and daughter, who I think are here, who have the patience that I'm a little bit late today because I was just doing that. I was just finishing that last thing before I left. And so thank you to Sandy for nominating me. Thank you to the staff who have always made me feel appreciated. I have had a wonderful career. I couldn't have asked for more.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, John, and my abject apologies to the Attorney General's office and Sandy, because they say the short-term memory goes first. Maybe so, maybe so. Our next award is from a nominator from the Parma Municipal Court. Judge Deanna O'Donnell is here to present her nominee, Susan Jankowski.
Thank you. And congratulations to all of the award winners here this afternoon. You ready, Sue? Sue's very, very nervous. Sue Jankowski has been a force at the Parma Municipal Court since 1992, beginning her journey as a part-time employee before transitioning to full-time in 1997. Her career began in the court's older, much smaller building, where technology was minimal and adaptability key. Over the past 33 years, Sue has been an essential part of the court's evolution. From typewriters to advanced computer systems, from cramped quarters to a state-of-the-art facility, she has been a part of it all. And despite the changes, one thing has remained the same: Sue's unwavering commitment to excellence. As a core member of the assignment office, Sue plays a critical role in the day-to-day operations of the court, assisting everyone from judges, defendants, attorneys, and the general public. She has trained generations of staff, maintained the highest standards of professionalism, and has done it all with humility and grace. Her colleagues consistently describe her as a leader who is kind, compassionate, and fair. Someone who treats every person she meets with dignity and respect. Today's award rightfully acknowledges a woman who has selflessly devoted much of her life to public service. Sue, the Parma Municipal Court is so grateful for you, for your experience, your work ethic, and for the calm presence you bring to a demanding environment each and every day. Your legacy is and will be one of quiet strength, unwavering professionalism, and deep humility. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you this afternoon, Sue Jankowski, Parma Municipal Court.
Good boy. Thank you, Judge O'Donnell, for that wonderful introduction and the nomination. And thank you to the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association for selecting me as one of this year's recipients. I am truly honored. I would never have imagined all those years ago when I made a random call to Parma Court to see whether they were hiring. Actually, I just called and said, "Are you hiring?" That call ultimately would lead me here today to receive this award. And I did start part-time, and I was working 8:30 to 11 every day. I mean, who can beat those hours? Until finally I was offered a full-time job, which I did accept, obviously. It has been a privilege working with all the judges, magistrates, bailiffs, and especially my coworkers in the assignment office. The assignment office is a very busy place. In fact, everything in our court comes through our office. As I'm sure you can imagine, it can be very challenging at times, but it can also be very rewarding as we assist individuals as they navigate through the system. I am proud of how well we all work together to get the job done, and I couldn't ask for a better group of coworkers. Thank you to my family and friends who are here today, and congratulations to all the award recipients. Thank you again for this award. I truly appreciate it.
Congratulations, Ms. Jankowski. Now, those of you who, like me, are sort of counters will note that that was the 6th of 12 honorees. And I'm forced to give another apology. The Public Servants Committee had arranged for a special halftime presentation today by Taylor Swift, but she seems to be otherwise engaged. Our next award nominee comes from the Cleveland Municipal Court, who was nominated by Judge Michelle Earle. Unfortunately, Judge Earle cannot be here, and in her stead is Judge Charles Patton, presenting Dean Jenkins, the honoree of the court.
Okay, good to see you.
Good to see you, Your Honor.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the bar for sponsoring this program. It's so nice to be awarding somebody doing something nice and be appreciated and sharing rather than what we do in the daytime some days. Dean Jenkins, been with the court for over 30 years. Dean goes to extraordinary measures to get things done around there. The former administrative law judge of the court, Larry Jones, used to say that the Cleveland Municipal Court is a people helping court. We have drug court, veterans docket, mental health court, Johns court, trying to help people and keep them out of jail rather than in jail. Probation is a very important part of helping people turn their lives around. Dean's been married to Maya for more than 30 years. They have children, 4 children. He attended John Marshall High School here in Cleveland, went to Baldwin Wallace, got a BA in criminal justice, Kent State, obtained his master's degree in criminal justice, started his probation office in the pretrial unit, went on to writing pretrial service investigations, supervised staff members, created what we now call the DIET program, domestic violence prevention. Was a supervisor, deputy chief probation officer, and now chief. A couple of months ago, I had a trial, neighborhood dispute. Lady wouldn't cut her, or the guy wouldn't cut the bushes down. She couldn't see coming out the driveway. The backyard fence came down for some reason. Neighborhood dispute. Trial had asked the rascal to cut the bushes down and didn't know if it happened. And I called Dean, said, Dean, can you send somebody over from your department to see if the bushes had been lowered? And he said, I'll do it. And he went, took pictures, came back, showed me the pictures. We were all happy. And it's just those little things that somebody does beyond the desk in the Justice Center that helps everybody. So Dean, I want to thank you personally for what you've done for all the years that I've known you, and wish you continued success. Dean told me he had a good time in Aruba and wants to go back with his wife one of these days soon. I'll give you Dean Jenkins, Chief Probation Officer.
Thank you, Judge Patton, and all the present and past judges of Cleveland Muni Court. And those of you that know me can see I only have 2 pieces of paper, so we'll know we'll get out of here on time because I have a tendency to talk. And the other thing I just noticed is what a long walk it is from that chair all the way up to here. But anyways, I'm truly honored to receive this award. And it's even a greater honor to be placed in the distinguished ranks of those past honorees. Many of them have been my colleagues at one time or another. I would also like to thank my wife and my kids for their unwavering support through many of the issues that I've brought home and whatnot. And as I look back, some of my fondest memories are just the relationships that I've made at Cleveland Muni Court and overcoming many of the challenges that are there. Cleveland Municipal Court is where I started my career aspirations, and that's where things began to take shape. When I first stepped onto the 6th floor of the Justice Center, I was really stepping into an unknown but slightly exciting and intimidating journey along the way. During that time, I've had the opportunity to work with many dedicated people that have made a huge difference in my life. As the chief probation officer, I've had the privilege of working alongside a dedicated team committed to second chances, accountability, and change. So when I think about this recognition is not just about me. It reflects the efforts of all the officers, counselors, and any other partner in the justice system who works tirelessly to support all of our clients and, most importantly, the community. I would like to say a big thank you to all my colleagues, mentors, and the leadership for your trust and support. But most importantly, I think I would like to thank some of the clients that we serve, because with them, that gives all of this work meaning. And with that, I think we need to keep striving to make progress in this field and keep moving forward. As I was putting this together, I was trying to think of one humorous or outrageous story, and I was speaking to one of my colleagues, and she warned me, you probably won't be able to deliver a good joke, so leave it alone. So taking her advice, I'm going to leave the humor alone. But in all of that humor are great success stories. With every one of those success stories, with all of the judges helping us, it leads to a safer community. And I think that's what we're all striving for. Again, I would like to thank all the present and past judges of Cleveland Muni Court, the leadership of Cleveland Muni Court, each person that I've had the opportunity to work with at Cleveland Muni Court. I want to give a big thank you, because who I am today is part and parcel because of you. And I would be remiss if I did not say thank you again to my wife and kids for always standing by me. And to the Bar Association, I'd like to say thank you. And thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean, and congratulations. And some of the folks in the audience, including perhaps my wife, would ask that you give me the name of your colleague so she can tell me how to stop telling awful jokes. But our next nominee comes from the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, and here to present his nominee, David Lambert, is Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Michael O'Malley.
Thank you. I want to recognize all the previous honorees and thank them for their dedicated years of public service. I also want to thank my old friend Dean Jenkins, who just received the award a minute ago, wherever the heck he's at. I worked with Dean 32 years ago in Cleveland Municipal Court as a probation officer, and I can tell you he absolutely deserved the award, and I'm glad to see it. As the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor, the difficult part of presenting this award is that we have 350 employees and 230 dedicated attorneys who each day really advocate on behalf of the citizens and the office holders of Cuyahoga County. So picking just one person is a very difficult chore, and I hate to almost do it because you're leaving others out. But in this particular case, this individual has earned it through a dedicated, exemplary career as a public servant. Dave Lambert, let me start off. I thought my assistant had done this, but I think actually Dave did, because he seems to be subtracting some years out. And that's a true story. Dave, let me start out. He was a St. Ed's graduate, graduated from OU. He graduated from the University of Michigan with a master's degree, and then he went to law school. None of those years are included in this sheet, so I have no idea when he graduated or really how old he is. But he did start his career as a public servant in the Cuyahoga County Department of Welfare in 1979. He worked at the Probate Court for 4 years, and then he was an assistant attorney general for 5 years. In 1995, Dave came to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, where I believe he came under Stephanie Tubbs Jones. The late Stephanie Tubbs Jones hired Dave in the Civil Division. In 2005, Dave became the Chief Civil Officer of Cuyahoga County. He was the supervisor of our Civil Division, where he represented the Cuyahoga County Commissioners and every office holder in Cuyahoga County. During that tenure, he represented the likes of our former commissioners, Tim Hagan, Jane Campbell, Tim McCormick, Peter Lawson Jones, Eric Weingart, a whole array of public officials, but he also represents many of the people that are sitting here, even to this day. Dave left the office in 2014, and he came back again when I was elected in 2017, and he again has been the chief civil litigator for Cuyahoga County, representing the county in many lawsuits, representing, the elected officials, and also developing the careers and assisting the staff in our civil division, which includes a dozen attorneys and a half dozen support staff. Dave also has a wonderful family. He is supported by his partner, Clerk Kilbane, and 2 children, Brandon Lambert and Carolyn Lambert. So he's really had an exceptional career. But what he has done for this county and what he has done for the office holders really can't be measured. And what he has done to train new office holders who come through our department and our divisions is also immeasurable. And like I said, the difficult part of being the Cuyahoga County prosecutor, besides everything we deal with every day, is making a choice for this award. But I'm very proud today to nominate somebody who has 38 years of public service, not 35, and who has been a member of our office for 27 years. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, I want to, I got my pages out of order immediately here. I want to thank you, and I want to thank you, Jacob, and the Bar Association for awarding this honor on me. It's an honor that I will cherish. Mike, I can't lie to Mike about my age because I went to school with his brother. So his brother will catch me if I fudge the numbers. It's a great honor to be here today, and I am happy to accept this award. This award is for public servants. It's a award for people who engage in public service. And I do think Jacob was saying it's for the unsung heroes of public service. I don't think I qualify for that. I feel guilty about that because I don't believe I'm an unsung hero. I'm just a guy that's got a county job, and I love my county job. And part of the reason why I love it is because of Mike O'Malley. It's a pleasure working for Mike, and it's a pleasure working with all the people at the county, especially my staff. The thing that we do, the main thing that we do at in the civil division, especially since the charter was enacted, is that we defend the county from lawsuits. And sadly, this is a business that is booming. And in this day and age, it creates a tremendous responsibility on me and my staff. There are many lawyers out there who view us as a target. The news media portrays us as worthy of being sued, and it's a new day and age. When I started, we were not worried about multi-million-dollar liability lawsuits, but more and more we are a target. We are viewed as a deep pocket, and so that has made the work of my unit even more important and more difficult, if you will. Now, I have been with the county for a long time. You know, this is a point where I start talking to young lawyers, and they say things to me like, I go, do you remember this? And they go, Dave, I wasn't even born then. I'm like, well, I guess you don't. And, you know, I actually knew Franklin Polk. That's how old I am. I was a deputy clerk at Probate, and Franklin used to come in and file estates. I always thought he was a very nice gentleman. I didn't really know him very well, but that was in the early 80s, actually. So, yeah, and Mike talked about some of the interesting times that I've lived through. I could tell you a lot of stories. One of them is Jim McCafferty, who I knew. He was the head of DCFS, and he became promoted to become the county administrator. On his first day in office, I believe it was in 2008, he calls me and he says, Dave, there's 50 FBI agents outside my door with warrants, and they're telling all our employees that they have to huddle in their office. And so it was my job to go over there and talk to them to see that these employees could continue to carry on their duties in the midst of this raid that happened. That was not a good time. I've also lived through the charter, you know, the enactment of the charter, which is something that Mr. O'Malley and I have dealt with. You know, the charter came in and people predicted that the civil division was going to go the way of the dinosaurs. There will be no more civil division. And I wish I had a nickel for every hour I spent since that time defending the civil division, insisting that we still have a role to play. And Mike O'Malley has been one of the most zealous defenders of the civil division. And we thank you for that, Mike. Not everybody had that commitment, but you certainly did. So, you know, when you're a prosecutor and you appear in court, you follow certain rules. And these are rules that you pick up along the way, and they're kind of common sense rules, but they're important rules. One of them is never interrupt your opponent when he is digging himself into a hole. There's another rule, never speak when the judge is reaming out your adversary. And there's another rule. It's not really a trial rule, but it's a rule of common sense. It says, never quibble with your boss when he's saying nice things about you in public. But Mike, I have to violate that rule, and I got to make a confession, because I don't believe that I am an unsung hero. Rather, I know about other unsung heroes, and those are the people in my staff. And I feel a certain amount of guilt standing up here awarding this, or receiving this award. My staff is outstanding. I have 16 lawyers and 6 support staff. I'm immensely proud of them. I even had one of my APAs today, a man, cook a cheesecake for me. So anyway, being a manager can be hard or easy, you know, it depends. If you have a staff of people who are problematic, they don't work hard, they want to fight and engage in intrigue and drama, it's hard to be a manager. But when you have an excellent staff of dedicated, hardworking people, it's not so hard. So it's because of that reason that I'm quibbling with you, Mike. and saying, I appreciate this award. I accept this award, but I accept it at least in part on behalf of the unsung heroes in my unit. And I thank all the people here who showed up to attend this. I thank you, Mike O'Malley. I thank the civil staff and the attorneys. And I want to thank Claire Kilbane, my partner, who has been with me all these years. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave, and congratulations. By the way, I usually make this notation at the beginning, but I'll make it sort of in the middle. I apologize to everyone whose name I have or will be mangling. I sort of know that there's one public servant who may have stopped nominating people because she got tired of hearing me mangle her name. But with that said, our next nominee comes from the Juvenile Division of Cuyahoga County's Court of Common Pleas. Here to present Cynthia Leary is Judge Kristen Sweeney.
Thank you for being here today. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mrs. Cynthia Leary. She and I have worked together since 1998. She was the assistant clerk and I was the assistant public defender for a juvenile court judge. I quickly learned to pitch my arguments to Mrs. Leary as much as the jurist because that person would always turn to her and ask what she would do with a case. I learned that she had an intuitive understanding of human psychology. Mrs. Leary's office at that time was the size of a closet in the old juvenile courthouse, and she would type up the journal entries using carbon paper and a typewriter. And kids locked up in the detention center were routinely cuffed and dragged by her office on their way to the detention center, most of them screaming and crying. Given how chaotic and how heartbreaking juvenile court can be, I can say that in the many, many years that we have worked together, I have never seen Cynthia Leary lose her cool. And that is a magnificent accomplishment. 6 years later, Cynthia had moved out of the closet when I was elected to become the judge in that same courtroom, and she became my assistant bailiff. We have worked together for several decades, and I frequently find myself asking for her opinion about a wide variety of situations, just like the first one that we worked with. When our administrative judge, Tom O'Malley, called me to ask about nominating Cynthia for this position, neither of us were sure that she would accept it because she doesn't like to be fussed over. And she is one of the most humble people and compassionate people I know. Humble and compassionate are the two most frequent words used to describe her. She is probably one of the most emotionally intelligent people I've ever known in my life. One person said, Mrs. Leary can make me smile even as she is telling me something I don't want to hear. She is a role model for me. She's always the first person to come into the office in the morning, but without ever having to say anything, me and all of our staff that we work with know better than to ask her to make the coffee. I appreciate and respect this important example of boundary setting. Cynthia makes me want to be a better person. I find myself hoping that I can be as compassionate, as self-disciplined, and as professional as she always is. And if you know anything about juvenile court, we constantly have brand new attorneys coming in all the time. And if you are a new attorney, you know that the bailiff is one of the most important people that in any case, because they control the flow and what is going to happen, they control your access to the judge. And it is a real honor to work with her while she is working with all of these new people coming in and out of our courtroom all the time. It has been a great honor to work with her over these past 3 decades, and I hope I get the opportunity to continue to learn from her for many more years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I've been with juvenile court, started working for juvenile court in 1994. Have several roles. I've been in several positions, but right now, today, I just want to acknowledge a few people for their support and just overall. Number one, I want to thank Judge Christian W. Sweeney. I want to thank Judge Tom O'Malley. Thank you so much for nominating me. It's an honor and I appreciate it. Thank you. I also want to thank my coworkers. My coworkers have truly been there on a daily basis, not only today, but on a daily basis, have given me their support. I appreciate you guys. That's on a daily basis. You guys continue to support. You may not like what I ask you guys to do, but you're willing to do, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I want to say thank you to my niece, Stephanie Phelps, because she didn't have to be here today. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. My good friend, Dorothy Hodge, thank you so much for your support. I don't have a lot to say, but thank you again. I appreciate the nomination. Thank you.
Cynthia, thank you and congratulations. Our next nominee comes from the Lakewood Municipal Court, and here to present Susan McKeon is her judge, Judge Tessneff.
Well, it's almost 5:30, so I guess I can say good evening. We're past the 5:15 mark, I'm just saying. But I want to congratulate all the honorees today. I honestly think this is one of the coolest events. I mean, public servants get the job done, and you should all feel very special because you are. So it's my privilege to be here with Susan McKeon, and I'm happy to be presenting her with this Merit Public Servant Award. Sue is the epitome of the enthusiastic public servant, and she has dedicated herself to helping others. How does she do this? Well, Sue has been with the Lakewood Municipal Court for 25 years. Actually, it'll be 26 on September 13th. All those years have been served in the civil division of the Clerk of Court. And for 17 years, Sue was a supervisor until there was a reorganization. Many think of the civil department as a lot of paperwork. While yes, this is true, Sue said, "It's the people that we get to help and the amazing staff that I've been privileged to work with over the past 26 years, which is the heart of why Sue still is at Lakewood Municipal Court." Sue interacts with the individuals coming to the court with incredible grace and patience. Because she is very knowledgeable about the civil processes, she has a knack for easing individuals' nervousness. Her mission is to get folks moving in the right direction, whether that is scheduling a hearing, filing documents, referring them to a resource, answering questions, or just letting them vent to her. She has a knack for putting people at ease with her calm and caring demeanor. This quality is important because the court can be a very stressful experience for people, because let's face it, no one's coming there to hang out for the fun of it. Sue has been in her position so long that she recalls every clerk had a typewriter on their desk. Sue's longevity in the same department has allowed her to get to know almost all the landlords, the attorneys, and defendants by name, and she even strikes up conversations with them. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't know their family trees as well. Sue has worked with many clerks of courts, magistrates, and 2 judges. In fact, Sue and I worked together during my years as a magistrate with Lakewood Municipal Court, so this is our second rodeo together. Sue has done it all during her tour of duty in the civil division. from assisting as the bookkeeper, helping prepare Ohio Supreme Court's the annual report, assisting with payroll, and even helping the magistrates with their IT issues. I won't mention any names, but I see quite a few of you here today. Okay, so I'm going to close with a few Sueisms that were shared with me by Sarah and Bethany, and who are Sue's co-workers. Sue is an avid reader, and in fact, she keeps a detailed spreadsheet of her books with notes and reviews. So who needs the New York Times bestseller list when you got Sue in the house? Every morning around 10:30, Sue indulges in a snack of a Reese's cup and a Diet Pepsi. So this explains why mid-morning she's full of energy. Sue's green thumb has caused her to devise a strict routine with watering every plant in the office. Not only does she water them every Friday, but she also rotates them 90 degrees so they get equal sunlight. Sue is notorious for remembering court staff birthdays, and she actually created a happy birthday poster that goes to each person on their special day. Finally, Sue's coworkers affectionately refer to her as Mom because she is caring and always has an open ear for all of them. Sue, it is my pleasure to present you with this award. I'm very happy for you.
All right, she kept saying how much ease I have. I don't know if that's true, but we'll try. To the members of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association, Judge Neff, my colleagues past and present, and my beloved family, thank you. I'm honored to be here and grateful to be one of this year's Franklin A. Polk Public Servants Merit Award recipients. Thank you for your consideration, Judge Neff. I have given a lot of thought to the word and meaning of service. I'll be honest, I was simply thankful when I got the job at Lakewood Court 26 years ago. I was going through a life change and needed a job with insurance for my kids. I was hired by Judge Patrick Carroll and now work with Judge Neff. During the years I've had this job, I was chief deputy of the Civil Division for 17 years. I've worked with the best magistrates, several clerks of court who've showed me leadership in different ways, and the most dedicated, hardworking, and fun deputy clerks. I have processed a plethora of paperwork, answered the phones, and helped people at the counter. All part of the job, right? Yes, but there's much more to this job, this legal community, isn't there? I am the oldest of four, born to Donald and Jacqueline Powers. My dad was an attorney for 60-plus years, my mom a nurse before passing at 50. My stepmom was active in the Catholic community. My sister Donna was an attorney at Powers and Powers with Dad before she passed, both of whom are recognized here in memorial. My sister Jean is a retired captain from the U.S. Navy Nursing Corps, and my brother Andy is the manager with Solar for All at PSEG in New Jersey. My wife is a retired Lakewood teacher, and several of my closest friends are pastors. So if I were to say I grew up in a bubble, it was one where service to others was modeled on a daily basis. The jobs that my family and friends do every day are in service to others by contributing to the welfare of others as their moral and social duty. They've done this diligently, acting with justice and kindness. This was never a topic of conversation, but the way of life. I have been shown and mentored my whole life that this is just what we do. Part of Lakewood Municipal Court's mission statement says, we strive to treat individuals with dignity and respect. Working at the court has always been more than just a job. I certainly hope that my colleagues feel supported by me. I love working with the magistrates as they serve others. I am honored to work with Judge Neff, the first female judge at Lakewood Municipal Court, in the history. My goal when I answer the phone and greet people at the counter is to give guidance and answers, non-legal ones, to help them take the next step in improving whatever situation they find themselves in. To me, service is the small ways we can make a difference in the lives of others. As long as I listen and show empathy while doing my job, answering the phone, helping others, or someone within the court, I'm hoping I've created a positive impact on those around me. I think the everyday tasks that we do for others are so important for the fabric of our communities and their well-being. It's what everyone in this room works toward, and I'm happy to be able to get to work where I get to live these values. Congratulations to all the nominees, and a big thank you to the judge and to my family.
Susan, congratulations to you and your entire family. All right, our next nominee comes from the court that many of you know I spend much of my time in the Domestic Relations Court of Cuyahoga County, and here presenting her nominee is Judge Diane Palos. I would be remiss if I didn't note, as they're coming up, that this is the first time in my somewhat spotty memory that we've had a sister act, a second recipient whose sister preceded her. And Judge Palos is here to present the award to Maria Ranieri, her nominee.
Thank you. Before I get down to business, I would be remiss if I didn't thank and congratulate my lawyer, Dave Lambert. And as he mentioned, he represents us, and it happens about, 3 times a week now. So thank you. And Susan, I worked for your dad in 1980, Don Powers. And when I was in college, I knew your sister Donna. I was sad about both their losses. I also want to mention that I thought until Dave spoke that Jacob and I were the only 2 people here who actually knew Franklin Polk, who are still alive. But I thank you for that, too. So I feel better about, there's 3 or 4 of us, maybe Judge Russo knew him, too. Thank you to the Metropolitan Bar Foundation for this opportunity to celebrate all of these extraordinary employees, and congratulations to all of you. Domestic Relations Court nominated Maria Ranieri for recognition because she is integral to our domestic violence department. She was hired, 21 years ago to be a domestic violence advocate, something that, I don't even know how many courts had something like that then. She blazed the trail for all of the services that we now offer, literally. As the advocate, at that time, she met with the petitioners. She made sure they were in the right court. She asked them about safety planning. She assisted them with filling out the petition, and she helped them get their certified copies when it was all over. Now, this was a lot more difficult than it sounds, because at that time, there was no dedicated hearing officer for the domestic violence cases. So that often involved calling I call them 4 corners, but there's 5 of us, 4 corners, to try to find a judge who was available to hear the case, or a magistrate. So it meant a lot of phone calls, a lot of going up and down the stairs, running around the building. She did that, and then when they did file, the other horrible thing at that time was our clerk of court's office. We didn't have a satellite domestic relations office like we do now. They were in the Justice Center. So she would actually take the people through the tunnel over to the Justice Center to help them file, bring them back, find the appropriate judge or magistrate hearing officer, then take them back through the tunnel to get their certified copies, to make sure that they filed it right, got the certified copies. There was an awful lot of walking involved, and sometimes it was cold, and she had to wear a coat. And a lot of times the petitioners were upset and crying and shaking, and so she'd just tell them to stay in her nice warm office, and she would go do those walks by herself. She'd do it for them. In 2011, she became the domestic violence coordinator when the court established a dedicated domestic violence department through federal funding. We expanded the personnel to include a full-time advocate from Journey Domestic Violence Center, so Maria didn't do that anymore. But Maria's ideas and thoughtfulness shaped that department. More often than not, the people who appear in our court are experiencing what is possibly the most difficult time of their life. But in the domestic violence department, they're also experiencing extreme fear, shame, powerlessness, and guilt. It has been this court's fortune and the petitioner's blessing that we have had Maria on the front lines with the petitioners for over 21 years. Maria is now the director of our domestic violence department. Some days as many as 14 petitioners file for a civil protection order. Many more often contact the department to hear about the process and to think through the filing. People often talk to one of our intake specialists, Maria or the advocate, and then realize they're not prepared to go through with this filing. This is common with petitioners in domestic violence cases. Maria understands that this is a personal decision with significant consequences, and that all the contact the people have with the department is critical to saving their lives and to helping them move forward, and they're not always ready to do it that day. So she doesn't assess this with judgment. She's just calm and reassuring, and she helps the people whether they file or they don't file. Those people who do end up filing get assistance from Maria through the entire process. Not as much physical walking as before, but making sure the paperwork is done right, processed, and delivered. As an example of Maria's contribution over the years, she created a safe room for the petitioners to wait before their hearing because she discovered that some of them were intimidated by their batterer during the process out in the hall, and they maybe even left or were afraid to speak once they did get to the hearing. So she created a safe room. But of course, not everything is clear cut in our court. Sometimes the petitioner is a respondent on another case, so she has a different place for those people to wait. If they're just a respondent, they have a different room too. We have a lot of traffic and a lot of places for people, but it's really important that we have created that, and it's Maria's forethought and coordination that has brought some of those things that are simple, but meaningful safety procedures that we have. For all of these reasons, we decided to recognize Maria this year. She is very deserving of this award. Our court is proud to have Maria as an employee. She is my hero, and her ability to work with people at the lowest point in their life and to continue to give them understanding, support every day with every person over and over again makes her very special. And I was going to try to take, there's a lot of songs that have the name Maria in them. I was going to try to take a bunch of Maria songs and weave them in here, but it was too much work. But I do want to thank you for your outstanding service, and I have one. Ave Maria.
Thank you. I'm very, very nervous. But I just want to say that when I used to walk, I used to be a lot thinner. So, all right. Thank you to the Bar Association. Thank you, Judge Palos. I am deeply honored to receive this award. In my role with the Domestic Violence Department at Domestic Relations Court, I've seen how vital access to justice is for survivors. It's about safety, it's about dignity, and the right to be heard. I accept this recognition on behalf of the survivors who place their trust in us, the dedicated department staff, and our judges, Administrative Judge Diane Palos, Judge Leslie Celebrezzi, Judge Francine Goldberg, Judge Tanya Jones, and Judge Colleen Reale, whose leadership makes this work possible. I also want to thank 3 supervisors. They have other titles, but I'll just call them supervisors. Sharon Ditko-Bevioni, Serpil Ergen, and Charles Zepp. Thank you all for your support. Finally, I want to thank my daughter Liliana, my sister Vicky, and my family for their love and support, which sustains me in this work. This work is not easy, but it is necessary, and together we will continue to protect and empower those who need it most. Thank you. Thank you to the Bar Association, and congratulations to the other honorees. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Maria, and thank you particularly for those inspiring words. The 12th nominee today is from the Federal Public Defender's Office for the Northern District of Ohio. Speaking on behalf of the Public Defender, Mr. Stephen Newman, is Timothy Ivey, presenting their nominee, Khadijah Wilson.
Good evening. Again, I'm Timothy Ivey, the First Assistant at the Federal Public Defender's Office, and I am pleased and honored to stand in for our Chief, Mr. Steve Newman, who sends his regrets that he was unable to be here today, to honor our nominee, our Administrative Assistant, Khadijah Wilson. Now, We, Khadijah and I are mindful that we are the only ones that are standing between you and the reception and food. So we have agreed that we will try to keep our comments to be somewhat less than an hour. The Federal Public Defender's Office, we are committed to fight to maintain the integrity of our constitutional rights. In representing our clients, we provide a voice to the voiceless and give hope to those who are beaten down by life and who face the horror of federal criminal prosecution. In aiding us in our efforts to accomplish our mission, we are blessed to have a special person, a special one who provides support, service, dedication, guidance, and nurturing that is relied upon by and valued by all. That is our administrative assistant, Khadijah Wilson. Khadijah began her 28 years so far and still going tenure with the Federal Public Defender's Office. She carries out her duties as administrative assistant in all the roles that she's held with grace, humility, integrity that is reflective of the best our community has to offer. Khadijah came to us in 1997, and she started out as a receptionist, but she quickly distinguished herself among her peers and was promoted to administrative secretary in 1998. She then went on to become the property and procurement administrator of our office in 2008 and became a supervisory assistant, a role that she has today, in 2021. She is known for her patience, attention to detail, prompt response to time-sensitive requests. Now, Khadijah's smooth, and she has a unique ability, and those of us who are my colleagues at the Federal Defender will attest to this. When you ever fail to follow one of the administrative procedures in making a request or request funding, and you receive chastisement or admonishment from Khadijah, somehow you walk away from that feeling you just received the best compliment of your life. And you don't realize that she took you down until about an hour or so later. She carries out all of her duties with kindness, generosity, patience, and guidance that is invaluable to our office and to our mission. And her skills and her nurturing and her assistance goes out into the community, many community service projects like Meals on Wheels that she is involved with. And also, she's a wonderful, wonderful nurturer and provider and assist to her family, who is many of which who are here today. So this honor, it is an honor to you, Khadijah, but for us, it's just a small way for us to say, in a very small way, thank you. Thank you for all that you do for the Federal Public Defender's Office. Please welcome Khadijah Wilson.
What do you say after that? That was glowing. Thank you so much, Tim. Steve nominated me. I appreciate him, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm really glad that you're here. I want to start off, I know, like you said, that the only thing keeping us from ending this and getting to the buffet is just a few minutes, and so it won't hold you long. I want to thank the CMBA for hosting this event. I'm honored and I'm thrilled to be here. Again, I want to thank Steve for nominating me. I'm just really excited, really excited. I'm excited that my family is here. I want to thank my daughters, my twin daughters, Alexandria and Brittany, my parents, my brother, and one of my best friends, Rashawn, for being here. My brother, Stephen, who's here in spirit. I also want to thank my cats, Stormy and Axel. They're really special to me, and they're my rock. I want to thank my FBD family for being here, past and present. I appreciate you all. I'm proud and honored to be a part of a very small administrative team. We're small but mighty. We carry a lot. We do a lot. We're the rock of the office. That's how I feel. We support our entire office and clients through countless contracts, experts, processing, travel vouchers, payment vouchers, all vouchers under the sun, and all other behind-the-scenes tasks that no one thinks about. It just sort of happens, and it says, "Where's the administrators?" Our office's mission is to provide zealous representation to our clients with dignity and respect. And when our office is appointed to represent a client, we strive for excellence. Through investigations, research, administration, through all of the steps, all of the levels, we're always striving for excellence, especially in this very difficult times. I'm honored to work alongside my FPD family, and after all these years, I know that I'm at the right place. I'm in the right space, and that's a blessing. I'm supposed to be here because serving those in need is the foundation of life in our community. Everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs a hand up. Everybody falls. Everybody makes bad mistakes. I would hate to be judged by the worst thing that I've done in the worst time of my life. So that's what makes our office really special. Nobody can do it alone. We're all connected, and I'm just really, really grateful to be here. Congratulations to all of the nominees, all of your nominators, all of the awardees. Thank you.
Congratulations, Khadijah. Now, much as she and Tim suggested that they're the only ones standing between us and the buffet, unfortunately, they're not quite right. We do have one more item on our agenda this year, and it's my privilege at this point to note that for the first time as part of this proceeding, we are going to present the William K. Thomas Professionalism Award. Each year, the Bar Association honors the memory of Judge William K. Thomas by presenting an award in his name. The award recognizes individuals whose careers reflect the highest ideals of professionalism, integrity, and service to both the bench and the bar. On a personal note, I have to hark back to a time a lot of decades ago when I had the privilege of trying a case in front of Judge Thomas. And all these years later, it chokes me up to remember the professionalism, the courtesy that he showed a young lawyer who probably didn't belong in his courtroom. Similarly, I knew Judge Trapp for a long time, early in both our careers. When she was working for a collection law firm, she and I took a ride together to 140-something in Kinsman for her to do an acid examination of a gentleman I was representing. And despite the reputation of collection attorneys, she even then showed the greatest professionalism and respect for everyone involved. So with that introduction, I'd like to ask Nick Ticello, the Bar Association president, to come to the stage and help us honor the memory of Judge Trapp.
Thank you. Good evening. On behalf of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association, I want to congratulate all the honorees. And on behalf of the broader community, I want to say thank you to all of you. The William K. Thomas Professionalism Award is presented each year to a lawyer, including judicial officers, who have made a lasting impact on the greater Cleveland legal community by exemplifying the highest ideals of professionalism, civility, and ethical conduct. This year, we are honored to recognize the late Judge Mary Jane Trapp as our recipient. Judge Trapp's distinguished career and her unwavering dedication to justice have left a profound and lasting mark on our profession and many of us in this room. She modeled integrity, respect, fairness in every aspect of her work and in her life, and her legacy continues to inspire all of us in the legal community and beyond. We lost Judge Trapp far too soon. Many of us, it was very sudden.
And when I speak to lawyers about her, invariably we said, I just saw Judge Trapp. She was just with me. No one was more engaged in the legal community than Judge Trapp was. And despite having lost her too soon, her commitments to the highest standards of professionalism will continue to guide generations of lawyers and judges into the future. To accept the award on her behalf, we are privileged to welcome Judge Stupica to the stage. Please join me in honoring Judge Mary Jane Trapp, this year's recipient of the William K. Thomas Professionalism Award.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Bar Association, Bar Foundation. Hi, Jacob.
Good afternoon.
Nice to see you and so many people. And I'm glad I renewed my passport and came all the way from Chardon to accept this today. It's truly my honor. And no, we don't have snow yet, so I'm sure it's soon. I think I've received more awards in Judge Trapp's name posthumously than I've accepted in my whole lifetime for myself, except if you count the 6th grade spelling bee award I got, but just kidding. She's truly deserving of this award. It's the perfect award. For those of you that knew Judge Trapp, she was the penultimate professional. But for those of you who were not fortunate enough to know her personally, she was just the penultimate person. She called me her sister-in-law, and her best friend. And yes, just about 4 months ago, she left us much too soon. I spoke to her at 8:30 in the morning on April 24th, and by 3 o'clock, she was gone. She was at my house for every holiday. Back with Mike was alive too. She was our family. One night in December 2010, she called me and said, Tara, do you want to run for judge? I'm like, yeah, I got nothing going this week. Why not? 14 years later, here I am. And she set the bar high. She set it highest for herself. She loved the law. She was my phone a friend in cases where something might be come to her on the 11th District Court of Appeals, for which my court was in her jurisdiction. They'd be hypothetical phone calls. I remember she was the writing judge, and I didn't know at the time. She told me afterwards on a case that someone appealed from my court, and one of her colleagues at the time, Judge Wright, goes, Mayor, how can you and Terry are best friends? She goes, yeah, but the law comes first. And she reversed me. Yeah, she was wrong when she reversed me, but she still reversed me. But that was her love of the law, and she stuck to it every minute of her life. She was respected locally, statewide, and nationally. I'm amazed at how many emails I received from her colleagues across the country that she dealt with in courts that just wanted to say how much she meant to them or how much she helped them over the years. She's left quite the legacy, and she will be missed for a long time to come. I am truly honored to accept this on her behalf, and I hope the example she set throughout her years will never be forgotten. Thank you.
Closer. Thank you, Judge Stupica and Nick. I would now like to invite David Myers, Chair of the Public Servants Committee, to the stage to say a few remarks.
Closing remarks.
Closing remarks.
Right.
Sorry, I missed that word in my script.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. On behalf of the Public Servants Committee, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the people that helped make this possible. To our sponsors, we appreciate your support. Your financial support helps us make sure that this is going to keep going on for years to come. I want to thank our CMBA staff, the ones that really made sure that everything got put together and was carried out properly. Thank you very much. To our guests, I want to thank you all for being here. I know that, seeing this turnout means so much to all of our honorees. And I see they told me there's one last sentence on the back that I got to make sure I don't forget to say. And that's because, most importantly, to each one of our honorees, congratulations. Your professionalism, service, and commitment inspire us all, and it's been our privilege to recognize you this afternoon. Back to you, Jacob.
Thank you.
That was fast.
All right, we're almost done. I would like to take this opportunity to ask all of us to thank all these folks corporately one last time for their service. And with that, firmly, finally, absolutely, I've run out of adverbs. I hereby conclude the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Foundation's 79th Annual Franklin A. Polk Public Servants Merits Award Ceremony. Please join us on the balcony for a celebratory reception, and I look forward to seeing all of you next year for the 80th anniversary of the award, and thank you again. We're done.